This is Zoran Theodorovich, a.k.a. the Mighty Z of Capital Chaos TV and Metal Gods Radio. And I have from Boston, Massachusetts, I have Jon Teachey of Wilderun on the phone. What did I do wrong? Is it all good? Did I pronounce it right?
That'll be Wilderun. And actually, personally, I live in North Carolina. We're kind of a long-distance band. The rest of the band, except for Wayne, are in around Boston, Mass. But I'm in the Durham area of North Carolina.
Oh, very cool. And now, when the tongues of flame are unfolded into the crown, not of fire, is that right?
I believe so.
What's that all about? Is that your is that you?
That being a lyrical thing, that's all kind of Evan, our singer's, forefront. I unfortunately, I'm just being the drummer. I am not too familiar with the lyrical content and the meaning behind it. So unfortunately, I can't really speak too much of that.
How important is coffee in the morning? And are you black with cream and sugar? Are you black or with cream and sugar?
Oh, I'm straight black coffee in the morning and in the mid-morning lunch and, around 2. And sometimes I do it for dinner. And I like a nice light roast. And I like my coffee a lot.
A light roast as opposed to a dark roast, then, huh?
Yeah, I find it gives that more of a buzz feeling.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I'll have to try that one day.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your ethnic background, where you're from, where you spent most of your life, and what's kept you there.
Oh, okay. Well, my personal background is I'm from North Carolina. I'm from around the Raleigh area. I've spent 18 years here before I went to college, and then I went to college in Boston, Mass. And that's where I met all the guys. We all went to school together, and then graduated around 2012. Came back down to Raleigh, North Carolina. Then I went out to California for about a year, and then I came back to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. And I've stayed here basically because I've found a career outside of music here that can kind of sustain me. But I moved back here intentionally, or initially, I should say, because I kind of have a support system here with my family. What's keeping me here is, personal relationships and jobs. But yeah, that's kind of my background as far as geographical location.
Have you delved much into your ancestry, and was religion a big part of your upbringing?
I was raised personally as a Christian. I don't really subscribe to anything anymore, but I haven't done much personal research, like legitimate research on my ethnical background, but I do know that my great grandpa, my mom's side, is from Ireland. I look very Irish, so that's what I can say for myself in my research on that topic.
How did you first get into music, and what was your first introduction to heavy metal, and what is your most prized music collectible?
That's a good one. So my older brother, Kevin Teachey, he started playing guitar about a year before I started playing drums, and I started playing drums when I was 10. He started a band, a little, garage band, and I kind of just watched them a bunch, and luckily their drummer left their drum set at my house and just let me play it, and I kind of just picked it up and fell in love with it. and I'm mostly self-taught. 6 years playing self-taught. Then I started taking lessons with a great guy named Abdallah Sayir, and then went more forward with a more structured learning, a procedure. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started. But my favorite music collection, I just started a vinyl collection myself, and it's very, very new. I have 2 pieces so far. One is from one piece of vinyl is from a band called Paladin. We've played a show with them once before, and I've seen them twice, I think, and they just really rip it up. And I also have another vinyl by Kendrick Lamar, it's Pimp Butterfly. I'm looking to expand that greatly, but those are the 2 pieces I own currently.
Well, are you expecting to, will it be a vinyl of the new album?
Oh, yeah. We are doing a pressing of Veil of Imagination. I believe that the band members will all get a copy of that. So I suppose I'll add our own stuff to my collection as well.
So the new album is number 3. Veil of Imagination comes out, I believe it's July the 17th on Century Media Records. It's an incredible piece of work. You must be very proud.
Thank you. Yeah, I certainly am. I would say the most proud of this record. Lots of time and energy went into the creation of that, and that's not to say that time and energy and heart didn't go into the other albums, but this one felt different, I believe, in some hard to say way. But yeah, obviously it getting the recognition it got, and helping us to do the deal with Century has meant a lot. So yeah, very proud.
We talked a little bit about Century Media and now being part of the Sony family, and also talk a little bit about the amazing cover art.
So yeah, we kind of have been approached by a couple record labels, and initially, and right from the bat, Century kind of approached us with really nice terms right in the first get-go, and they had a general sense of enthusiasm about us, and with the negotiations and kind of like talking to all the record labels that were talking to us, they had an enthusiasm for us and a lot of patience, and that's been really nice, and we really appreciate the just how the negotiation process went down. So far, we're kind of transitioning. There's a lot of work to be done in the whole switching from DIY to Century. So that's kind of new, but everything's has been great. They're really good advocates, and there's a lot to be said for the lineup that's on Century without us. Like there are some of our favorite bands are on that, so we're really, really excited to be in that family. And as far as the cover art goes, I think it's really awesome how much how much the positive response for that. How enthused people were about that. I thought when I first saw it, personally, I thought, what in the world is that thing? It really captured just this crazy whimsical sense that I felt like the album was meant to be. And I personally, it's there's a struggle of knowing that it's partly something that I was part of being, having it represent my band. I struggle with like wanting to put it up on my wall, like in my house. I don't want to be like a narcissist in that. Like it's right. In itself is like it's just a beautiful piece of art, and I'm really like, excited for the vinyl to come out so I can have that in a big, box print.
Yeah, like it's meant to be.
Yeah, right, exactly.
With 8 songs in over an hour, is there a theme running through the album, or is it more of a collection of songs?
There's definitely a theme. It's definitely designed, at least I believe, by Evan to be like a journey. There are some songs that stand out by themselves. You can call them singles if you will. We've chosen a couple to be singles, but it's definitely supposed to be a journey. Lyrically, I believe there is a general theme. It's about just cognitive processes. Yet again, I'm not too familiar with lyrical content, even in my own listening. Honestly, I generally don't listen to the lyrics. But it's long answer short. It's meant to be more of a journey rather than just a collection of songs.
How do you decide to walk away from a song?
That's an interesting question because I don't believe we have walked away from a song. Like having everything that was brought to the demo for Veil and Sleep has been that there haven't been any like B-sides or just like, oh, we're just going to trash this song. Everything's been kind of intentional, and I think that's just because a lot of these things have been, a lot of these albums so far that we've put out have been already decided as a unit by Evan before we, decided to produce them as Wilderun. So I believe there's one B-side kind of tune that we have from Olden Tales that we are sitting on that we might maybe do something with at some point in the future. It's hard to tell, especially considering Olden Tales is such a different sound than we are now. But everything that we have on the album has been kind of, from the get-go, ready to, very intentional.
Are there any bonus tracks, covers recorded for special people and things? Any cover songs part of the band's live arsenal?
We've never done any covers live that I know of. Although actually, I believe we have a guy who fills in for me. He's a great friend of mine. His name's Blaze Collard. I believe we did a Banjo Tooie medley in the metal at one festival, but I wasn't there for that, and I don't remember if that's even true. But as far as live covers or covers of songs done live, we haven't done that yet. I'd be open to it. We do have a cover of an Iron Maiden song, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, being released with the re-release of Veil Through a Century. And that song I would be happy to perform live. It's a really fun one to do.
Do you write with do you guys write with inspirations over time, or do you pick a time frame, say like 6 weeks, and cram it?
So far we haven't had any deadlines because DIY is, no one else has been counting on us to get something complete up until now. So now with the Century thing, we're we're going to have some deadlines, and that's going to be a whole new transition that we have to get used to. Yeah, everything that we've done so far has just been kind of completed, and we just kind of went into the studio, and when we felt like, oh, it's been enough time, let's go back in. So yeah, that'll be an interesting transition to have to deal with deadlines and, you know, how that affects our songwriting process.
How familiar are you with modern day mythology like QAnon, chemtrails, and UFOs?
Oh, I have heard a thing or two about QAnon. It's kind of wild stuff. I don't really personally believe in any of that conspiracy. What was the other ones?
Chemtrails and UFOs.
Oh, UFOs. I believe personally 100% that they are, you know, extraterrestrial life that exists in the universe at the very least. I think it would be naive to not believe that. Whether they visited us, I mean, it was pretty recently that it was declassified, right? That we had footage from the Air Force.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, and that kind of just, you know, that should have been huge news, but it wasn't because of how crazy our country is right now. But chemtrails, I'm not too familiar with that conspiracy.
Does the current environment shock you, or is it to be expected of sort of the chaos of the last almost 2 weeks?
Oh, we are referring to I guess the last 2 weeks. I wouldn't be referring to the pandemic.
Well, we have the pandemic, and then we have the uprising.
Right. I certainly think, you know, personally, and I say this as a, you know, as Jon Teachey, it's to be expected. You know, it's about damn time, you know, something gets done about this, you know, the situation. You know, they really messed up by allowing, by continuing to expect for us to just go with the status quo, especially when, you know, we have nothing to do with this pandemic. Like we have the ability to go out there and protest. So of course we're going to do it. And, you know, I personally, in Raleigh, I went out to the protest on Saturday, and I just hope it continues, and I hope there's some very, you know, foundational, top to bottom, systematic change needs to happen.
And finally, I just want to thank you for your time. And do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with anybody that might be listening to this?
Final thoughts. Thank you for listening to our product, this labor of love that is somewhat taking off. We really appreciate it. And I hope that I haven't come off too awkward in this interview, because I've not done too many of these. But yes, thank you again. Thank you for the love.